All right, let's get right to it. When it comes to strength, does size really matter? I think we've all just kind of assumed that the bigger person always has the upper hand. But what if that's not the whole story? Today, we're going to break down a showdown that was designed to answer that question once and for all. So, this is the big question, right? Do the short guys actually stand a chance against the tall guys in a pure test of strength? We've got two teams ready to go, the self-proclaimed short kings and the tall dudes. And they're about to go head-to-head in some seriously grueling challenges to see who really comes out on top. But you know, this turned out to be way more than just about physical measurements. As we're about to see, this whole thing quickly turned into a battle of two totally different mindsets, a real contest of height versus heart. And man, this really just sums up the whole vibe. On one side, you have the short kings, and they came in with this incredible underdog energy, saying it's all about the heart of a champion. Then you've got the tall dudes who were, well, a little more relaxed, joking about how hard it is to be tall. Let's see which one of those philosophies actually worked. So, the competition starts, and let me tell you, it did not go how most people would have guessed. The short kings just came out of the gate on fire, absolutely dominating the first few rounds. It was basically a sweep.
Okay, first event, the bear crawl relay. And you'd think, right? Longer arms, longer legs, the tall guys have this in the bag. Nope. The short kings were just faster, way more agile, and they flew through that course to lock down the first win. It wasn't even close.
And just like that, boom, the underdogs are on the board. After just one event, it's 1-0 for the short kings. Right away, that whole idea that bigger is always better gets thrown right out the window. The tone for the day was set.
So you're probably asking, how did that just happen? Well, somebody watching pointed out a key scientific idea, biomechanical leverage. Basically, if you have shorter limbs, you have a shorter range of motion, which can be a massive advantage for being efficient and fast. And you're going to want to keep that in mind because it's about to become a really big deal. So, keeping that idea of leverage in your head, we move to the next event, the 1-rep max bench press. This is as classic as it gets for raw upper body strength. Surely, this is where the bigger guys would have the edge, right?
Well, just look at these numbers. That whole leverage thing we just talked about, this is it, right here in real life. The short kings didn't just win, they blew them away, lifting a combined 135 pounds more than the tall dudes. Absolutely wild. It was a huge statement that leverage can totally beat size.
So, the scoreboard ticks over again, and it's 2-0 for the short kings. At this point, their momentum is just insane. You've got to be wondering what is going through the heads of the tall dudes right now.
And the hits just kept on coming. Event number 3, max pull-ups. And again, think about it. Shorter arms means less distance to pull your chin over the bar. The short kings used that advantage perfectly, and you guessed it, they took the win.
So after 3 events, it is a jaw-dropping 3-0. A clean sweep for the short kings in the opening rounds. This is starting to look like a complete rout. The question isn't, can the short kings win anymore? It's, can the tall dudes even get on the board?
But just when you think it's a total wash, something clicks. The tall dudes, staring down a pretty humiliating defeat, finally lit a fire and decided to fight back. And suddenly, we had a potential comeback on our hands. And you can hear it right here. This quote says it all. It's time to stop letting them win, y'all. Let's really turn on the heat here. That was the moment. All that frustration finally turned into focus, and the tall dudes walked into the next event looking like a whole new team. And what's the next event? Tire flips. Finally an event where sheer size, mass, and reach are a huge plus. And this is where the tall dudes finally made a count. They absolutely destroyed this event, finishing in 58 seconds. That's a full 24 seconds faster than the short kings. And there it is. The tall dudes finally get a point on the board. The score is now 3-1. They avoided the shutout, and there's a tiny glimmer of hope. It all comes down to the final event. Okay, so this sets up the perfect finale, doesn't it? It's the short king's strategy and heart against the tall dude's raw power and newfound momentum. Everything was on the line in one last epic showdown. And it all comes down to this, the C4 Battle Tug, a classic tug of war. The ultimate test of sheer collective strength, of teamwork, and, honestly, of pure physics. Winner takes all. But the short kings weren't just relying on muscle, they had a game plan. You can see their thinking right in this quote. They knew being closer to the ground gave them a lower center of gravity, which is a massive advantage.
They could dig in, get low, and anchor themselves in a way that taller guys just couldn't.
And you know what? It worked. That strategy was everything. In one final, gritty display of pure willpower and smart physics, the Short Kings dug their heels in, held their ground, and pulled that rope over the line. They won the event, and they won the entire competition.
So, the dust has settled. What's the takeaway here? What did we just see in this incredible battle of size versus strength?
I mean, look at that final score. 4-1. In the end, it wasn't even close. This wasn't a fluke. The Short Kings didn't just win, they made a statement.
So, how on earth did they do it? Well, it was like a perfect storm, really. Yeah, they were smart about using their physical advantages, that leverage and lower center of gravity. But it was so much more than that. It was their teamwork, their absolute belief that they could win, and just that raw heart and determination they brought from the very first second.
And that really leaves us with this one big question to chew on. While being big and tall definitely has its advantages, this whole thing proved that true strength is about way more than that. It's about your mind, your teamwork, your spirit. So it really makes you ask, what truly defines strength? Is it the body you have, or is it the heart you bring to the fight?